Well, I mean, I'm very, obviously, playing college baseball. It's, having a passion for baseball. But I think one of the things that I've learned over the years is, like baseball sports in general, they only take you so far. They only take you so far with career wise. So that's something that I've been, really big on is developing myself and setting myself up for success outside of baseball. So, and it relates to me. I have one more year left of school, and then I'm off, and I'm no longer playing baseball, and I'm no longer in college. So it's
Hmm.
it's something that I've had to think about, and I've kind of started you know kind of not necessarily like exactly where I want to go career wise, but I started doing stuff that I enjoy and,
Hmm.
just starting like my professional career in the meantime. So that's something that's, you know, been passionate for me is, I've always been big on strength and conditioning, and that's
Yeah,
something that's been huge for me. So I've been able to like work with. So what I do an internship with my school, the strength conditioning department at our school. So I work alongside with the head coaches and the strength coaches, um, and those guys are the ones that coach, and they kind of develop the programs. But I'm there, I assist, I learn from them, and I kind of make my own programs for people outside of my school, and I've been able to kind of monetize that and start a professional like a
yeah,
professional side to things, which has been nice. Um, but I mean, it's been a learning experience.
for
I
sure.
was able to I worked with my teammates. That I had 6 guys on my team stay with me this summer, and they trusted me to train them. So I was with them 6 days a week, and we were just working out and doing different running drills, lifting, like just different you know things to help them get better
Yeah,
at their game. And it was like the whole summer, and they all saw huge progress for themselves.
that's
And
awesome.
so that's been something that's grown on me, my passion
Yeah,
for it's and I think that comes from I love to make other people better. I like to make you know get the best out of people, because a lot of people, all they really need is that extra little push, and that gets them going. So
for sure. No, I love that you've been able to do that, man. And something that you said that was interesting to me is you said, you have one more year left in college and playing baseball and everything. So
right.
it sounds like you where you're at with your life, like you're not trying to pursue professional baseball or anything. Like you've already kind of made
No,
that decision.
I mean, the thing about professional baseball specifically, it's I don't play at a major Division 1, a Power 5 school. Like the
Hmm.
school I play at, it's a mid-major Division 1. So it's a good, we play in a good conference, good teams. We play, the kids on the team are great. But to play professionally, you have to, and to play professionally and not only succeed, but even to make money, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
If you get drafted really, really high to play professionally, you're going to make more money. You're going to
Hmm.
sign a big bonus. But, there's guys that have got drafted that I've played with at my school, and they'll sign for a couple grand. And it's
Yeah.
like, if these guys are relying on that money to survive, and they're making 20k a year, which they don't that's hardly livable for
Right.
a kid on his own. So that's something that's I've considered it. And it's take away skill set alone, it's just hard to make a living at that
Yeah.
point, and you're kind of gambling on yourself. So
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I mean something that, I love baseball. I grew up playing it and still follow it pretty closely. So I'm familiar with it, but I know there might be
Yeah.
some people listening that aren't too familiar with the sport. And like the thing with baseball is, man, like going through the minors, like Matt said, like when you get drafted and you're going through the minors and stuff, like you're not making big league money.
No.
You're like you said, making sometimes barely livable
You're
salaries.
making,
And
yeah, you're making 1200 $1,200 a month,
yeah.
and that doesn't include, living expenses, clubhouse fees.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying for your own meals because
Yeah.
you're not provided that, and it's really, I mean, it's really difficult to, it's not impossible,
Right.
guys. There's a reason guys do it, but it's a big gamble on yourself, and it's for some people it's worth it. for
Mm-hmm.
for me in particular, there's other things I want to do with my life. I love
Yeah.
baseball. I'm gonna love it when I'm done playing. That's not that the love for the game won't change. It's just
Right.
I just know that the path that I want to go, it's gonna lead me different areas. So that's been
Yeah.
the biggest thing I've learned.
Now, like I know that you have that love and passion for baseball. Do you think that you'd ever want to be involved with some sort of like coaching or anything like with baseball development down the road?
I think I that's one thing that I've done is I've kind of set myself in the direction to do many different things. So I'll after December, January, in that range, I'll get my CSCS, which is their a certified strength and conditioning specialist,
Okay.
which is having that extra. It's a difficult certification to get, and but it's required from most job, I mean pretty much all jobs dealing with strength and conditioning. So once I get that, that's going to set me up to either be a strength coach at a school, or work on that coaching, that development side, and be able
Mm-hmm.
to strictly focus on baseball. Because I mean, I have the experience playing. If I have that, like once I keep growing, keep learning, gaining more knowledge, on different different information, different research that's done. I mean, I would love like that would. I mean, that would be awesome to be able to coach, not necessarily be a baseball coach, but to be
Right.
a like a development coach for baseball, to you know work with that strength conditioning aspect to develop that, because it's a growing field, and it's the information out there is limitless. I mean, there's so much out there that people are still finding out.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, and with like strength and conditioning, is that something that, you're very passionate about? Was there like a moment in your life that really gave you that passion for it, or is it just something that since you're an athlete, you've always kind of been around it and you just kind of picked it up from there?
yeah, I mean, I've had great strength conditioning coaches over the years. Starting when I first began playing competitive baseball, so probably around, you know, 12 years old, I started, working with more like trainers and kind of developing my own skills. But once I got to high school, I got really lucky with my high school strength coach, who is now the performance coordinator with the Indians.
Okay.
Um, he's like the head of the minor league department, and but he was at a point where he was still like growing his background. He was still growing like that. That was the very beginning, and
Hmm.
he I got really lucky with him, and he just seeing what he did and learning from him, that kind of pushed me in that direction. It wasn't something that I've always been passionate about, working out and staying fit, but I always wanted to go to more of the post um, injury. So I either dealing with surgery, going to med school, or going to PT school or PA school, kind of going that route.
Okay.
But I think I've found like dealing with specifically dealing with athletes is working to prevent those injuries.
Yeah.
And, because the mental side to, coming back from an injury is hard, but
Yeah.
I think defeating that and kind of lowering that chance of an athlete getting injured from a early standpoint, I think that's kind of what I've grown a passion for, and kind of seeing athletes grow and get better in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
That's something yeah.
I love that. And, I think that's, one of my biggest regrets growing up and being an athlete is not taking care of my body. I think that
Right.
when we're young,
Yeah.
we all think like, oh, we're invincible, or, you know, maybe we tweaked something, but we're just going to go like practice or play through it, or,
Right.
not stretch before, a workout or a game or whatever. Because I guess we don't really feel like we need it at that point, but,
Yeah.
definitely bit me in the butt. So, I think that I love that you said, working with athletes to help prevent those injuries, because I think, and you probably know a lot more than I do, that if you do invest in like the conditioning and the strength training to prevent it, it's going to pay off a lot more
Exactly.
down the road.
Exactly. And that's something I preach to my own teammates, and I'm sure they're sick of hearing it from me, but it's something that if you can if you can lower that risk, because I mean, you can be the strongest guy in the world, the most flexible, the most mobile, you can be all that but still get injured.
Yeah.
Injuries happen, but you're lowering that chance. You're lowering that chance, especially with college athletes.
Hmm.
College athletes aren't as quick, and as they don't recover as quickly as when you're younger.
Right.
Your body's aging. It's still prime. You're still like young enough, but you're not 12 years old where you just get up and you're fine the next day.
Yeah.
There's guys that are hurting after a game the next
Hmm.
morning, and it's a struggle to get up, but that's kind of why you got to push to develop their bodies beforehand. And that's something I've preached, and I'm sure everyone on my team's sick of hearing it, but
No, it's important stuff. I'm glad that you are talking about it. And
yeah.
I think it's something that like we don't really talk about much in athletics. And, I think back to like even my coaches growing up, like I don't feel like we really had those kind of conversations. And, baseball specifically, I think about like pitching. I feel
Yeah.
like, we're just throwing out our arms at such a young age, especially, these days. I think we're a little better now than,
Yeah.
when I was growing up. But, just thinking about, putting all that stress on the elbow and shoulder and stuff, and not doing
Exactly.
what you need to prevent it, it's just going to end your career shorter, or you're just, maybe you're not going to get injured, but you're going to feel the effects of it, and it's going to cause some kind of
It's gonna
problem at some
linger.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
So, Matt, I know we kind of just like jumped into everything, and usually I do a quick little introduction, so just going to backtrack a little bit so everyone that's listening,
You're good.
yeah, so everyone listening, hi. We've already been talking. You've heard us talk a little bit, but I'm here with Matt Levenson today. Matt is currently, like you mentioned, he's a D1 baseball player at Winthrop University, and very invested in the strength and conditioning, and does a little kind of coaching and training on the outside of playing baseball. But other than that, Matt, I mean, do you mind just sharing a little bit about your background and kind of what you're up to these days?
Yeah. So I grew up. I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
But I lived in Florida pretty much my whole life. Um, and then now I ended up back 30 minutes from Charlotte in South Carolina, playing baseball. So I've been here. I'm a senior. I major in exercise science. I play my positions. I play infield and I pitch, so I get to do both. Recently picked up pitching, kind of started that last year, but I enjoy it. And, I really have a strong, strong position on, the strength conditioning side, like I've been
Hmm.
talking about, but, I'm just a normal college kid, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So like being a college student and, being an athlete at the same time, what does that kind of look like for you? Like, is it hard to manage the balance between the two, or is it kind of natural for you at this point?
I mean, at this point, it's natural, but coming into it, it's a lot different from high school.
Yeah.
You have to be more disciplined. There's going to be times where you don't want to do something, you don't want to go to class, you want to sleep in an extra hour or two, you want to go back, take a nap, whatever it is, but you have to be disciplined. And it's really just mental toughness. That's the biggest thing that's grown on me is I came in very disciplined. I came in with that mindset. I was very structured. I never missed class, and that's something that's been a big thing for me. But I've seen it with many people is keeping that structure and having that discipline to be able to go to that 8 a.m. class and manage if we have a late night at a game, and being able to go to class the next morning. It's difficult, but that's what you're here. That's what you're in school for. You're in school to go to school.
Yeah.
So
No, that's great. And, I think it's nice to hear, how just disciplined you are and how you said, you're there for school and, of course you're there to play baseball too. And, that's a huge part of your livelihood and something you love.
right,
But at the end of the day, like even if you were going all in baseball, you never know what could happen with injury and stuff.
exactly,
So, I think it's super important to any young athlete to know, like, by all means, go all in on any sport that you love, but just like don't let other things fall to the wayside because it's important to get that education or to focus on those other things because you never
exactly,
know.
exactly. And to piggyback off of that, it's you're kind of the thing that I've really been doing that I've seen has helped is you're giving yourself opportunities for multiple different things. I came into college hoping to play professionally, but I got here and it's I mean it's a different game. College is a different game. You learn a lot about yourself, but I think one thing that's I've seen from guys that I've played with in the past that have graduated is the guys that set themselves up, on a academic standpoint, guys that set themselves up, you know, in professional settings, those guys are more successful and they kind of give themselves opportunities quicker and they're able to, start with their lives versus kind of still figuring things out and
Yeah,
not being able to graduate on time.
right.
It's just it's a big it's a big thing, especially with baseball. A lot of guys, they just want to go straight to the league, and it's not that easy. You got
Right.
to give yourself different opportunities, different. I mean, and school. That starts with school. If you
Yeah,
can't maintain a certain GPA, you can't play. First of all, if your GPA is terrible, but you're not gonna. If you can't graduate, then you can't get a job, depending on what you're trying to do.
definitely. And so of course you go to a single university. You can't speak for every college athlete or college baseball player or
Yeah.
anything, but from your experience and maybe like just the people that and maybe teammates, past teammates, current teammates, does it seem that a lot of college athletes kind of have that mentality? Or I feel like a lot of like people that aren't involved with college athletics think like, oh, like they're just there to have fun and play sports and like they don't care
Yeah.
about grades and stuff. Like, do you feel that way, or do you feel like that's kind of like one of those myths that people don't really truly see the full picture to?
I think that's one of those things coming into college. I feel like as a freshman from day one, most kids are not thinking about the future. They're
Yeah.
not thinking, and I think there comes a time in every athlete's career when they realize their time is up. When they realize,
Mm.
oh, I'm not going to that professional level. And that's with every sport. I've seen, from basketball players to soccer players, you know, different athletes, different kind of
Yeah.
athletes and different schools. I have a lot of, friends that play at different universities that play collegiately that, it just, they realize at a certain point, like, oh, I need to do something with my life.
Yeah.
And it's, it, it depends when it hits you. I think it depends on the maturity of the person when it hits you. That's something that that's something that hit me the end of sophomore year. That
Okay.
was, and I mean that's fairly early, but
Yeah.
I think coming into college, most people don't have that maturity level as, hey, I need to get my degree, I need to do well, because that's when most people realize, oh, my grades are terrible, like I have a 2.3 GPA and I'm going to struggle to graduate when it's, your second, third year of school, and you're taking a lot more difficult classes, and it's a lot
Hmm.
harder to get your GPA back up, and it makes it more difficult on yourself. So I definitely think that's something that is I've noticed is,
Yeah.
you know, people not like it's not a matter of them noticing, it's a matter of when they notice and when they realize
Hmm.
that their career is not what they thought it was going to be.
Okay. Yeah, I really like that. So, Matt, you've talked about being disciplined and you're just, from talking to you, I can tell you're a really driven and motivated person. Has that always been a part of you, your personality, or is that something that you've had to develop over time?
Um, I think I've always been very, um I don't want to say more mature, but I feel like I've been very, realistic about, myself and what I want to do with my life, and just the way I go about myself. And I definitely hold myself to a higher standard. That's something that, both my parents, and I've grown up, I've learned, is like just watching people act in a very, very childish manner and a
Yeah.
very, very immature fashion. And it's to me it's, you just have to hold yourself to a high standard, and just be, I mean, being a good person goes a long way. And handling your business, being disciplined, being mentally tough, that's something that's always been big for me. I mean, obviously growing up when you're 8 years old, it's, things are a little different. But
Yeah.
i think I think starting when I was going into high school, I think that's when I started to learn discipline. And then once I got to college, I mean, college, it's a different story.
Yeah.
There's times now, I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning, because that's when I start, my internship, and I get going in the morning. And there's, if I wasn't disciplined, I wouldn't be able to wake up at 5 o'clock 5 days a week. It's not, and some mornings it's not enjoyable. It sucks, but you know what? You got to do it. It's not. I'm not gonna. I can't. I can't miss, because if I miss, that's a bad reflection on myself, and it's something that I don't hold myself to that kind of standard. So, it's, you kind of have to put that discipline on yourself to do things that you don't want to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think like, you know, in life, no one I think really wants to be uncomfortable, but in
No.
order to
Yeah.
grow and to really achieve what you want, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations and,
Exactly.
embrace that discomfort. And, you know, do you like waking up at 5 every morning? Probably not, but are you going to do it because you know it's going to give you better opportunities or experience? Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's a no-brainer to
Exactly.
you. So
Exactly.
I think that's important. A lot of us, we just kind of get complacent, or we're just like, hey, I'm I want to sleep till noon or something. I'm not saying that that's bad, but
Right.
just having that balance of knowing like when stuff needs to get done, you have to do it.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, you've kind of touched on some things with mindset and everything, Matt. But what would you say? And if it is the mindset, that's totally fine. But like, what has been one of the biggest life lessons that you've learned from being an athlete?
Hmm. I mean, to to kind of go off the mindset, it's it's the biggest thing I've seen with athletes is and versus athletes versus people that aren't in athletics, and it's something. I think this is what differentiates athletes from especially with jobs is
Hmm.
from other candidates is that mental toughness
Yeah.
is saying, all right, you know what? I've been in tough situations before, and I think, it's natural for people to get nervous. It's natural for, people to get anxious over, either an interview or, a big conference meeting or talking in front of people. But I think that's, something that I've learned, and it's something, being mentally tough and being able to, stick through things and work
Hmm.
through it and kind of fight your way into certain situations. I think that athletes have that adjustability, because not every day, you're playing a game and you're feeling great.
Right.
I mean, I would say at least 70% of the time you're playing a game and you're not 100%, which, that it's natural, but that's something where someone who maybe didn't grow up in sports, that's where that gets them. And having that mental toughness to say, hey, I don't feel great today, but I'm going to take care of my business.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I've learned.
No, that's great. And, I think baseball is a perfect example, man, because I'm sure you've been in the position where you know, you're go playing a game, you have a doubleheader or something, and you square up every ball that's thrown your way, but you just smoke it to, the shortstop or something every single time,
Right.
and you end up going like 0 for 8, and it's like you did everything right. There's nothing that you could have really have done better. The ball just
Exactly.
didn't go where you wanted it to, and it's like, how can I have the resilience to say, all right, that sucks, but we have another game tomorrow. Got to get
Yeah,
back in it. Like baseball, it's the whole expression everyone says, like, you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're still going to go into the Hall of Fame. It's
exactly.
like, I think that's the big thing that you learn, especially from baseball, that like it's a kind of a game of failure. I mean, you talked about pitching too, is kind of like the new position you're into. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to throw a no hitter every time you take the mound.
No,
So,
yeah,
you're going to let up those runs. You're going to walk people, but it's just kind of staying mentally tough, like you said, and just knowing that like
definitely.
you have
Yeah,
to keep going.
exactly. And yeah, I agree. Baseball is big, with mental toughness. I think it's, up there with most sports, but I think, in every sport out there, that's you need to be mentally tough because those are the people that make it. Those are
Hmm.
the people that make it professionally and get to that point. It's not the most talented people; it's the ones that have that mental toughness.
Yeah. So, if there's someone that maybe they're listening or just people out there who they want to have that mental toughness that we've been talking about, but they don't have it or they're not quite there, do you have any advice or suggestions or tips or anything to someone on how like they can develop that mental toughness?
I would definitely go back to kind of that point where you're talking about, being uncomfortable and making
Yeah.
yourself uncomfortable. Um, there's especially if you're not in sports, but if you're in sports, there's times where things are going to be uncomfortable or they're not going to be fun. There's going to be days when your coach is just, lighting you up
Hmm.
and all you can do, you can't talk back to your coach. All you can do is just sit there and take it.
Yeah.
And, that's one thing that's stuck in the mentality of, people nowadays is they're very soft and they can't take that criticism. But being mentally tough is looking your coach in the eye when, he's ripping you and just saying, yes, sir. Like just respecting it because, there's times where you don't like what your coach says. There's times where, running conditioning drills or doing punishment running, that's not going to be fun. that's not going to be fun for anyone. There's that, the team's not going to enjoy it. Nobody's going to enjoy it, but it's something that you just have to suck it up and do. So that's something that, if people are struggling with it, is to kind of put themselves in an uncomfortable situation. So that could be a simple thing, waking up 10 minutes earlier, waking
Yeah.
up and taking a cold shower. If you never take a cold shower, that's something that I've done before. Is, there's days where I feel soft and I'll just wake up and take a cold shower because, I hate it. It's not fun,
No.
but I'll hop in there for 2 minutes and then I'm like, you know what? If I can do that, I can go on with the rest of my day, and it's, I'm not saying, go to the extremes of, sitting in a cold shower for 2 hours, but, just kind of just making yourself uncomfortable, or if you have trouble communicating, it's, you don't communicate well with people, or you don't communicate well with strangers, maybe go introduce yourself to somebody and talk to somebody you normally wouldn't talk to, and kind of get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the way that you explained it. I think, like Matt was saying, you don't have to do anything massive. Like, we're not saying you have to go run a marathon tomorrow,
Right.
to be uncomfortable. Like, you can do like those little things, like Matt was saying, go start a conversation with a stranger. You know, I don't like to run, so like maybe
Yeah,
wake it up one morning, go for like a jog. It doesn't even have to be a mile, just like jog around
exactly.
the block or something. Like, I think that that's when you kind of challenge yourself. And I think you kind of see, like, if you're like, I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to go run like a couple blocks, and then you do it, you feel so much more
You feel
accomplished.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
you feel great after.
exactly. Like,
There's times where I don't want to clean. I don't want to clean. Like, I have dishes out. I have,
yeah,
it's just messy. I don't want to clean. I'm tired. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna suck it up and take 5 minutes out of my day and do it. And then I'm happy afterwards because I don't have to worry about it.
yeah. I think that's a good example. And something to touch on that is, like, I think that we get in those rhythms where it's like, oh, I have to clean, and instead of just taking that 5 minutes to go clean, it's like we just spend like 2 hours kind of like, oh, like, one more
Lollygag.
show, like,
Yeah.
and it's like, if you just go do it now, like, it's kind of like, don't even think about it. One thing that I've been doing within like the last year is, like, when I wake up in the morning, doesn't matter if it's 5 in the morning, 9 in the morning, whatever. I wake up and I just kind of do like 3, 2, 1, and when I get to zero, I get out of bed. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna sit there, like, even if you have to do some like silly little mental trick like that, like, do whatever you need to
It
do to
goes
just
a
get
long
up and get
way.
motivated.
Yeah,
It does.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned you're a senior, so you have one more year. So graduation will probably be in like the spring then for you.
Yeah, graduation's in May. So
Graduation's
it'll
May.
go
Okay.
past. I'll graduate and then I'll have, another at least month of our season.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's always
And
that's always a fun time of the year.
yeah, and hopefully, I'm assuming if anything, that's like when kind of tournament play or any playoff
Yeah.
type deal would be going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You feeling good about the season coming up?
Oh yeah. I think we're gonna
Okay.
have a really good club this year.
Awesome. Very
Excited.
good. Good, man. And overall, I guess, like, has your experience playing, has it been a pretty good experience, or has it been, up and down with just like, how the club's been doing and everything?
I think it's been positive, depending on the way you look at it.
Okay.
You look at it from a playing time standpoint, or you look at it from a learning experience. And obviously, I haven't, I've played. I've got playing time, but it's not exactly as much as I would like to.
Okay.
But I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of great people. I enjoy my time around my team, and
Yeah.
it's something that has really helped me, and it's helped me grow as a person. So I think it's a lot of people put a blame game on other people, and it's you just gotta look in a mirror, or think about the bigger picture. And
Right. Yeah.
That's what I've that's my career. So
Okay. Awesome. So graduation in May, you'll have about a month to play, and then that's kind of when the next chapter of the journey comes into play, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. And now you said December, January is when you're going to be getting that certification for strength and conditioning.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, that's the goal.
Should
So,
be. That's the goal.
okay. And then after that, I guess is it kind of like, are you going to be at the stage where you're going to be starting to look for things, or like, is it going to be the continuation of like the internship once you get that certification? Do you know?
Um, I think once I get that certification, and I won't have time to have that internship in
Okay,
spring because of,
this is
the
a
season and different like class schedule. But, I think that's something for me is I'll definitely start looking into jobs and start looking. I'm not gonna commit. I won't commit to anything until
hmm
I officially can. But I think that's something that because I kind of want to start, as quick as I can.
yeah,
Once I don't want to, waste a lot of time. So
okay. And now, are you thinking when it comes to your career working for like a company organization or doing your own kind of independent training or mix of both? Have you narrowed that down any?
I really, it's the one thing I've learned is, it's very difficult to start off on your own.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people, and I've talked to, different people through social media, and it's very very difficult to gain clientele right away
hmm
when you don't have, a base. So it's establishing a base. So I think the goal would to be on my own, the goal, but that would take time.
hmm
So, maybe starting off working at a facility, or honestly wherever, just
Yeah.
wherever it is, or, you know, I mean, the stuff I've done on my own, it's, I've been able to excuse me, sorry. I've been able to make, some money off of it, but it's not money that, if I were to end my career today and start living on my own, it's not something I could live on.
Right.
So I think I think having, some stability there with a facility or gym or just wherever, I think that would be the start for me.
Okay. And then you said like the ultimate goal would be to do it on your own.
Do it on my own, or, work with, either a team, whether that
hmm
be collegiately or professionally, or, at a university, kind of head a department. That would be ideal, but, it's difficult. It's not easy. It's
Yeah.
very competitive, but it's something that if you have passion for it, you're kind of, it's the same way with professional baseball. You got to gamble on yourself.
Yeah.
So
No, you're right. I mean, I think definitely we have to invest in ourselves and gamble on ourselves and, I would say make, smart risks, right? Like take like smart risks. Like if you can't sing at all, I wouldn't say go move to Los Angeles and try to be a singer. But
right,
you have to kind of make those smart risks on yourself. And it seems like you have like the confidence and the discipline to really get to that stage. It's just a matter of kind of paying your dues and working hard
exactly. Yep.
for sure. So, and you said you have trained some people, and are you currently training people right now, like on your own?
Yeah, I work. So I do a lot of online training. So I have
Okay.
clients online. I can't. I the only in person stuff I could do was, with my teammates, but I
Yeah.
was able to work with them. Just me with them, and that was big. That they trusted me, and
Yeah.
but, it's I've been able to develop a good client base online, which has been nice. So
Okay. Awesome. Are you like, and I know you're pretty busy and the season's coming up pretty soon, but are you still taking on any clients?
yeah, I mean, it's the thing about it is like I love doing it, and I
Yeah.
have certain programs for like I make the programs very very personalized,
Okay.
very personalized to each person, but that's something I enjoy doing. So,
Okay.
and the nice thing about it is, once I write the program and kind of send videos over, and I kind of do. So I'll make the program, and then I'll go through the whole program and send exercises that I have in the program to the person so that they're doing them correctly. But once the program's built and the videos are sent, that's it. It's that I'll check up on them, and I'll text them, message them, email them, but
Okay.
unless until they're done the whatever a 6 week program, whatever timeline, I don't. It's not much coaching unless they need help. But
Okay. It's kind of just giving them the tools that they need to get to their goals, and
right,
then
right,
okay. And then like you're there like if they have questions or they're like, "Hey Matt, like I don't
yeah,
understand how to do this workout or whatever." But it's really kind
exactly,
of like, "All right, here's the tools. You have what you need. Go do it and you'll
exactly.
be good." Okay.
And I adjust programs. There
Yeah.
was I had one client a couple weeks ago. She got new equipment, and she was doing like a body weight program,
Okay.
and she got new equipment, and you know she wanted more exercises to do. So I gave her different exercises that she could be doing each day with along with her body weight program in order to supplement that and help her more. So
Okay.
that's something that's but I mean it's not, I enjoy it. So I don't find like other people might find it difficult and
Yeah.
time consuming, but I don't even think about the time when I do it. I just enjoy doing it. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that makes a big difference, man, when you enjoy what you're doing and like it doesn't even feel
exactly.
like work. It's just kind of like I love doing
Right.
this and like you said, kind of to start our conversation, like you like helping people and seeing them get their results and, accomplishing the goals that they have. So it's kind of like, you're able to
Exactly.
do something you enjoy and seeing people
It's a
be
win-win.
happy about it. Yeah, it's a win-win. Awesome, man. So, um, to anyone that's listening, maybe they want to get into fitness or start working out, or, maybe over the last year, year and a half, whatever, they've been a little more indoors and haven't been getting that active. Is there any advice or like tips that you'd have to anyone that like wants to get started with their strength and conditioning journey?
I mean, I think the hardest part about it is starting. It's
Yeah.
once you kind of get in that groove, and you get yourself in the gym, in the weight room. You kind of are all right, but most people struggle with getting in there. So kind of pushing yourself and telling yourself, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Like it's an hour out of your day, 30 minutes out of your day.
Yeah.
It's 4 or 5 times a week. That's if you go to the gym for 45 minutes for 4 days a week, that's what's that, 3 hours out of your week?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Right.
So I think it's getting people, comfortable. And a lot of people don't go because they're intimidated or they're not comfortable. But that kind of takes us back to the point earlier where you got like put yourself in an uncomfortable situation for yourself and try to get comfortable with it. So kind of pushing yourself, pushing a boundary that you might have on yourself, and helping like developing that.
Yeah.
So
Definitely, and I think that it's almost underrated in the sense of like if you can push yourself out of your comfort zone to work out, even if it's just like at home alone. So like, you don't have to worry about being intimidated or maybe you can go to the gym. Once you start working out, you're gonna get more confident working out. And then as you maybe hit goals that you have, you're probably gonna be more confident with maybe, the way that you feel you look, and you're gonna be more confident with, you know, school or work or whatever. Like I think that it's one of those things where when you start putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations and gaining confidence, it's not just confidence working out. It's confidence in so many other aspects that you don't even really
exactly.
realize.
Exactly. like you said, people don't realize that. So I think,
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
100% there.
No, I mean, it makes a big difference. And I think like we've talked about, just kind of the next stages after college and, finding a job, whatever the case may be. And, having that like athletic background kind of gives you that little edge with the mental toughness. I think that also like that confidence that you can get from, working out or whatever, like that's also going to give you a little bit of an edge because I think that like if you're interviewing someone, like you can tell someone when someone's feeling like confident in their answers and everything versus someone who is maybe a little more unsure of themselves. And I'm not saying that
Right.
working out is going to, necessarily
Change.
change
Yeah.
your life, but
Yeah.
it could definitely help you find some of the confidence in yourself or just, be
Yeah.
something that's good for you. Even if you don't benefit from it, like just being active, it's good for
Yeah.
your
It gets your
cardiovascular
body
health and
going.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
important. And, I think you probably know, growing up, the years that we've grown up and everything, that like it's very easy to spend a whole day sitting down and not moving, a single
Oh,
step
yeah.
because of
Watch TikToks all day and Netflix.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, scrolling the phone, video
Yeah.
games, maybe you have online classes, you're working online or something, and those things aren't bad, but it's just like when you realize you've only walked like 100 steps in a day, it's like, well, that 30 minutes, 60 minutes in the gym or outside or in your basement working out, that can do wonders for your mental health, your physical health, and just your energy levels.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Couldn't have
So
said it better myself.
I love it. Awesome. So, Matt, if anyone listening is maybe interested in looking to work with you for training or just kind of wants to connect with you, follow your journey and everything, is there any really good places for them to connect with you on? Is it like Instagram probably the best way?
Yeah, I mean feel free to follow and message me. I'll answer. I'll look at everything. I'll see everything. I've my two Instagram accounts. I have my regular profile, and then I have my fitness account. But feel free to message me on either one. I'm easy. It's easy. And once people usually message me, I'll have them, send me their email and their phone number so I can keep up with them and kind of message them throughout the weeks they're training and email them the programs and the videos that they need.
Okay.
So
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So I'll grab your two account information, and I'll put it
okay,
in the description. So if you're listening to this, I, your Instagram, it's just your name, isn't it?
yeah, just my name.
Okay. So just Matt Levenson. And then the fitness one, I want to say it's like next
Next
level,
Lev Fitness.
next lev. Okay. So Matt Levenson, next lev fitness. Again, I'll put those in the description. So go ahead, click down there, and then give Matt a follow. I mean, great dude, great conversation. On this podcast and off the record, we've had some great conversations. So definitely an awesome person to connect with. And if you are looking for someone to help give you a plan to reach your goals, I think Matt's your guy. He definitely knows what he's talking about, and he's just gonna keep getting more and more experience, especially with those certifications. So definitely a good resource to reach out to.
I appreciate it, Zach. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time, man.
Yeah, thank you for your time too, man. Best of luck with senior year and the upcoming season. Wishing you a healthy season as well. So stay healthy out there, and hopefully your
Thank you. Thank
teammates
you.
will be healthy too. Keep preaching the
Yeah, I'll
importance
keep
of it,
preaching,
man.
man.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for stopping by, Matt. It was great talking to you, and I'll catch you later.
I'll catch you, man. Thank
All
you.
right. Yep. See ya.
Bye.